Hello to the chicos and the chicas. Welcome back to Nimzo Indian land. I have no idea what's going on, guys. I recorded a Nimzo Indian video yesterday whilst on stream. And the video got interrupted a lot of the times with the notifications, following notifications and sub notifications. We actually got raided by the one and only legendary Grandmaster Maurice Ashley. So shout out to Maurice from here again for that. It was a very kind gesture. And actually I have started putting out more educational content on the stream too. Meaning that predominantly now I sort of lecture and discuss stuff chess related with the viewers rather than playing rather low quality games, which is what I used to do. So it was awesome to come across Maurice there, and he's another content creator who on stream usually discusses awesome chess, analyzes games and the like. So go and check him out if you would like to see more of that kind of content. And now, I recorded the video and like I said, it got disrupted multiple times, but I also went through my previous Nimzo videos and I no longer know what I have covered and what I haven't. And the funny thing is that I couldn't find a video, but I have a very strong recollection that I covered the F3 variation in the Nimzo, and I even analyzed a certain Hikaru Carlsen game there. And so I came to the conclusion that the only thing that I haven't covered in detail about the Nimzo is the Qc2 variation. And in fact, what is really long overdue, and I'm guessing that the crowd is actually going to second this, is that it's time for me to make an anti-Nimzo video. What to do against the stuff like knight f3 and g3. And that's going to be definitely, next on the list. But I would like to show you something about this Qc2 stuff, something that I recently explored and investigated, and I have been having a lot of fun with. And that is a variation that kicks off with d5, surprisingly, somewhat against Qc2. The reason why I say surprisingly, because most commonly people play here either castles or c5, and d5 is the move that looks the most like a Queen's Gambit declined, which people usually, the reason why they choose the Nimzo is because they want to stir away Queen's Gambit declined setups, which are traditionally known as a little bit passive. But passive is not what we are doing here, it's the opposite. We are going to actually go into Gambit style. A testament that I'm not against Gambits by default, but I like to choose the time and place when they are played. Now, before I show you the Gambit variation, I need to show you the party pooping line, which is cd5, ed5, bishop g5. Now, this now begins to look like a Ragozin. And in fact, there is an absolutely bonkers variation here with g5, bishop g3, knight e4, e3, queen a5. I don't even know, man. Like some absolute madness. Bishop e5, bishop f5. Is it here? No, it's not here. Maybe it's castles. Why do I not remember this? Knight e2 maybe, and then bishop f5. Yeah, that's it. Knight e4, knight takes knight f5. There is a theoretical line like this, and I really don't think that this would be a wise choice to go down this path, although the computer fully approves of the value of the variation. But this is the type of thing where for a club level player it's way too theory heavy. So, and it's difficult to grasp all the bits and bobs of what's going on in that tactical mayhem. Here is my suggestion. Play c5, they take you just castle. It's all G. They play e3, we play bishop e6. The idea behind bishop e6 is to make sure that once this pin is gone, bishop takes f6 doesn't cause problems for us on the d5 pawn. Knight f3 and knight d7. Just develop. Take it easy, chill. We are done with development. We're ready to reclaim the pawn on c5, and we have got a good chess game in the hand. At hand. Rook c8, and here actually White already had to be cautious, because if they carry on casually, a quick knight c5, knight e4 can turn out to be rather troublesome for White here. And so simple means really just develop your dudes. Castle, bishop e6, knight d7, and happy days, man. Happy days. Bishop e2, rook c8, and here a very famous Shirov versus Adams game went with c6, and after bc6 castles, queen a5. I want to get to the stage where he plays c5. c5, we got to a very commonly known hanging pawns. Pawn structure with c5, d5 being the hanging pawns, and black has got no problems whatsoever here. A very healthy position where it's very easy to play for black, no problems at all. And the other thing that I really like about this setup is that if white gets a little bit too greedy in the tempo department, or rather actually not in the tempo department, it's the opposite of that, in the positional department at the cost of tempos, and wants this bishop at all cost, that's when we actually flip it back on its head and we go like, right, so you are not developing your dudes at all, so now I'm going to unleash, and now I'm going to unleash, and now I'm going to unleash. And what we are doing here is a very quick knight c5, rook c8, trying to hit this queen really hard to prove that our superior development is more important than the weakened king side. And this position is full of dynamite. I really like this for black. Yeah, and so that is pretty much it as far as the unpleasant variation is concerned. The c takes d5 here, and now we are going to move on to the next one, which is the a3 move here, which is usually what the queen c2 players play against virtually everything. So against castle they play a3, okay, against c5 they need to take and then a3, and so a3 is basically the core idea behind this Capablanca concept, which is to play queen c2, kick the bishop out, and then take back with the queen, thus not compromising the pawn structure like the Zamish variation does with a3 bishop takes. And so after d5 takes, queen takes, we are in that position, and from here there are multiple avenues how the game can take a very sharp turn, and the number one of them among them is the so-called Romanishin gambit, named after Ukrainian grandmaster Oleg Romanishin, a very talented dude. Really well worth checking out his games. Yeah, this is where the fun begins. So again, the idea is, as it often is in this queen c2 line, that black is trying to actually exploit the fact that white has already played two queen moves and everybody else is still at home. And so we're trying to blow up the position and begin a very quick fight. Right here, right now, we want to fight because we are better prepared for it. And the only move really here is to take c5. Because otherwise take and the position just really opens up in a very unpleasant way for black, and knight e4 is always an extra tempo for us. So they usually take, and from here on I'm going to show you two games. d4 is the main move, and I'm going to show you one with queen g3, one with queen c2. The engine, by the way, claims that the position is very good for white, but again, we are not playing against engines, we are playing against humans, and to defend this and to find accurate moves here is rather challenging. Now, one very important thing that we need to note here is that the queen on g3 is attacking the g7 pawn, and therefore our gut reaction is, please take it, because that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another move to go back home, 6 moves with the queen before he even touched the king's side. Now that has got disaster written on it with capital letters. So instead white opts here for knight f3, and here comes the second trick, which is absolutely beautiful. It's really nice, and that move is e5. And this idea is based on a beautiful tactic, which is that if they take on e5, then we have this check, and there is no good way to block the check, because b4 is very strongly met by knight takes b4, utilizing the pin, a very common theme in this variation, whereas bishop d2 is going to be met by queen takes d2. I'm going to show you that game in a bit. Actually, I don't have that game up, so I'm going to show you how that goes. Queen d2, king d2, check, king back, knight takes g3. And here white actually has to give up the rook, because after takes, white is a piece up for nothing. Whereas here, white has realistic hopes that they will be able to recuperate the knight on h1, and then there would only be an exchange down for several pawns. This position is better for black. The idea is to send a quick rescue team to support the evac of the knight. I don't want to go deeper into this, just suffice to say that black is doing splendidly well here. And by the way, if they take here, game would go like this: rook g8, queen h6, rook g6, queen h4, and we already have a draw here. That's worst case scenario, but I would be more than happy to engage with bishop e6 with the idea of moving the queen and then castle. And black has got tremendous play for the sacrifice material. So we have knight e5, queen a5 check, and in the game white played king d1, not wanting to enter that endgame. Knight e4, grabbing a tempo on the queen. Knight f2, decoying the queen. And basically, for all intents and purposes, as far as the opening is concerned, we are done. White played this. Actually, I will stop here. I will stop, or rather pause here for a second. So now if we take stock, we realize that we are 2 pawns down, but the white king is shockingly weak. White has no development to speak of, and the position is falling apart rapidly. I will show you how it ended, because it's beautiful chess. Bishop d2, queen back, e4, bishop e6. Beautiful development. The rooks are about to join the fray, and white has no coordination to speak of whatsoever. b6, that was actually a bit smart. Rook f d8 would have been a much better move. Smart, I mean, playing for the crowd a bit too much. Take b6, rook d8 now, queen back, b5, exploding the position against the king that is stuck on c2. A magnificent game. Takes, rook c8, and once again, this is what this gambit is all about. Just chucking the pawns in like there was no tomorrow to exploit the poor development and the weak king. For the record, the game-winning threat here is rook d3, and if bishop takes, then queen takes c3. He played b6, queen c6, renewing the threat, bishop a6, and here he went knight g4. Now rook d3, I believe, is inaccurate, because now I can take with the queen and then I can take this rook. Yeah. So he goes knight g4. According to the engine, this is best, actually. Queen f3 and bishop b3 check. What a beauty, man. That's an unexpected shot. And the idea is that if king takes, then we mow down the 6th rank like so. And white is left with a king that is about to be mated. And white, he gave up before allowing a forced checkmate with queen c4, king b2, blah, blah, blah. Game over. Absolutely masterpiece. A beautiful demonstration by black about how to ignore pawns and value instead time, development, and initiative. Magnificent chess. Now, let me show you the other variation. The other variation is going to be when the queen slides back to c2. We play e5 first again, e3, knight c6. This actually looks a little bit like a reversed Queen's Gambit accepted. To a small degree, it does look like that. Knight f3 and castles. Again, white is really struggling to hold it together. b4. If bishop e2 here, I thought, yeah, rook e8 is the move. This is the trick you need to remember. It's very common with these this central pawn formation. The idea behind this move is that if they castle, you have d3 takes and e4. And now we understand rook e8. A breathtakingly beautiful fork. And so white starts to play queenside developing moves first, but this is not going to work. Rook e8, again, announcing the d3 threat. Very difficult to defend. Bishop b2 and d3. Simple, easy chess. Develop, develop, punch, punch. Queen c3, bishop f5. Now we defend the pawn, and we have got potential knight e4 threats in the air. b5, the losing move. Knight e4. And again, this pops up so much in this variation. This is your bread and butter. Knight on e4, queen on a5, slice and dice. And then rook d8 next. Beauty chess. Queen c1. For the record, by the way, white is a very strong IM with 2475. So we're not looking at some random dudes here. Queen a5 check. Knight d2. And if you want to find an absolutely beautiful move here to your own entertainment, I recommend you pause the video because I don't want to spoil your fun. This is an absolutely beautiful finish off, guys. And this is how good chess is played. Check this out. Knight d4. Boomski, baby. Knight b3, knight c2. All of them are on. And if takes, we just casually take back and bang. Hello. We are coming for you, boss. Pinned here. Discovered check coming from here. I mean, king d1, knight f2 would be an epic mate, but no one is that silly. But the position is beyond saving. He played bishop takes d3, knight b3, and a rather spectacular for Carino. Basically just finished the game off in style. And then, speaking of finishing in style, after castles, he's hoping to exploit these knights that are guarding each other. Black goes, nah, don't think so, bro. Not today. Bishop takes knight b3, check, wins the queen. Rook takes d2, on the other hand, loses an exchange, and then the game. c4 is also too weak. So, this is my recommendation, folks, for your Queen c2 variations, and I really do believe that with this, we have finished our Nimzo section of understanding your openings, and I'm going to make one or potentially two big videos in the future about the anti-Nimzo, so the g3 with the intention of the Catalan, and the knight f3 with the intention of a Queen's Gambit, Queen's Indian defense. So we are going to cover those next. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with more soon. Bye.